So we all know that Leeds United in this coming transfer window will look to do a hell of a lot of business. They'll look to sign an attacking player, potentially a centre-back. There's lots of names flying around. But in order to do that, as we all know, we will probably need to sell someone because that means that a little bit of revenue coming in, frees up PSR space. Absolutely spectacular. A lot of people for a long time now have looked at the situation and said, okay, but I've got no idea where these signings out are going. Like, who has an interest in Leeds United players? But now there is a significant amount of interest in someone signing a Leeds United winger for approximately £9 million. So, in this video, I'm going to go into who that player is, where they are potentially going, what can be done with that £9 million, and I'm going to save some of the sort of incoming player rumour stuff for a future video just because I've been out of the loop for a couple of days because baby. So, diving into it. First off, who the player is, Jack Harrison. Second off, who has an interest in him, Valencia. This is a very, very interesting one, right? Because I personally believe that Valencia aren't making the most of Lagi Ramazani, but I think that has a reason behind it. I think Lagi is the wrong sort of profile for them at the minute. A, because he's just not getting many minutes in the first place. He's had a grand total of 141 minutes so far this season, which, if I sort by minutes for all of their players, is the second fewest, and he's not started a single game. He's not melding well over at Valencia, and that's sort of understandable. It's a move he didn't seem to want to do in the first place, and he doesn't quite fit the style, because what they need at the minute is someone that is also a little bit of a defensive winger. Having a look at their statistics for the season so far, Valencia have currently conceded the equal third highest number of goals so far this season, which is bad, let's be completely honest here. And a hell of a lot of that is coming from the fact that they're fairly vulnerable to being overloaded, because their wide players aren't the best at getting back and covering, and that means that they are just cut open. But in addition to that, they're not scoring a ton either. Goals for this season is 16 for Valencia, which puts them, admittedly, it's not the worst, but if you consider that the team that are at the bottom of the table have scored 17, you've got to look at that and go, oh shit, we need to get some goals going. The response to both of those problems at the same time is winger that can defend, in my opinion, which is why they are potentially looking at signing Jack Harrison. In addition to that, Carlos Corberan is the manager over there at the minute, and you've kind of got to think, well, he's worked with Jack Harrison before. 1 add 1 could equal 2. Let's hope. Don't know what this means for Lagi. I'd love to speculate, but I have no idea. I think in theory it could mean coming back and then being loaned out again, but we'll have to see. But the thing is, the Lagi move is a loan. We know that the Lagi move is a loan. There's going to be no long-term revenue out of that. However, the Jack Harrison one looks like it's going to be a permanent sale. And the numbers being thrown around by the likes of Marsa, who are a reasonably reliable outlet, it's the equivalent of like The Sun, I guess, who their general sort of stuff, not great. But their football stuff, they tend to be on the ball because they're in touch with a hell of a lot of people all of the time. And selling Jack Harrison for £9 million unlocks a hell of a lot of stuff for Leeds United. Because if you have a bit of a think and bring amortisation into the conversation, that was a fun little bit of rhyme, and assume that any players that Leeds United signed this summer are on 5-year contracts, you can spread out the cost of those to basically say, okay, so we'll pay a fifth of that per year of the contract, or we'll pay 1 year at a time, the way that amortisation works. So if you say 5-year contracts for all of those players, that's 45 million quid that Leeds United would then be able to spend. I don't believe we would spend that much. I think it'd be a case of sell Jack Harrison, fantastic. Get in maybe a couple of players totaling £20 million or something along those lines, which I'm completely fine with, to be clear. I think that leaves plenty of room for PSR stuff, keeps us covered in the long term. Maybe we get a loan or two in, I don't know. But let's be honest, none of us are envisioning us selling Jack Harrison for a significant sum of money, so this bit of news came as a very, very big surprise. But if we're able to do it, that means potentially signing that right winger come 10 combination thing, which is ultimately what I kind of think we need at the minute. Brendan Aronson has been fantastic. He's played out on the right wing, he's played as a 10, but he's not got that sort of incisive, creative pass on him. He's not got that vision to him. In fact, Could always say, sign an 8. Get, and I'm going to say his name again. I'm so sorry, I'm going to say his name again. Edward Spurtjan. Get Edward Spurtjan in through the door. Can play as a 10, can play out wide, rarely, admittedly, but he can do it. Can play as an 8, which is, again, fantastic. He's got a load of goals, a load of assists, genuinely fantastic footballer. For me, the sale of Jack Harrison does a lot of work. It means that we are able to spend a hell of a lot more now. It means that we don't have to sell so quickly in the summer. Because the issue with signing someone right now and saying, we'll just sell someone in June, is everyone at that point knows that you are desperate to sell. Everyone knows that you need to plug a PSR hole, which means that they're more likely to say, well, okay, but you have to sell someone. You're in a rush to sell someone by this deadline. We'll try and go cheap. We'll try and sign Joel Peru for 8 million quid or something along those lines. Or we'll sign Jack Harrison for 3 million quid rather than 9, because they know that we will need to get rid of players. Whereas doing something now means that that sort of leeway opens up instantly. And that opening up immediately means that we can say, right, okay, let's sign the players that we need, and we don't get forced into selling in June. Because that happening means that we get less money back for the players that we currently have, which means that we can invest less in the squad in the future. So ultimately, I think this bit of news, the Jack Harrison potentially out the window, is probably some of the best news that we could have gotten. It's a squad player that doesn't really play in the slightest. Add on to the fact that he's on massive wages, which is again something that we can get rid of. I don't know if it'd be a case of Leeds do a little bit of wage contribution covering kind of thing. Hard to say. Add on to the fact that it opens up the PSR room. Add on to the fact that for the 49ers perspective as well, this is a weird one. It's just a PR win. It's a player that no one's particularly fond of anymore, and it's a big old sort of... It's an easy win for them, which I think is quite smart, and ultimately will point them in the right direction. But yeah, all of that combines to say that if we are able to sell Jack Harrison to Valencia for 9 million quid, absolutely go for it. I don't know if it'll be a thing that actually happens. I think the sources behind it are roughly reliable, but we'll find out more as the window continues to unfold. But yeah, that was roughly it for this video. Hope you enjoyed. Happy New Year as well. If you enjoyed the video, by the way, please like, comment, subscribe, all the fun stuff. That'd be absolutely lovely. Make sure that I'm able to keep the channel sort of going, because YouTube recommendations are always sort of horrible and will always cause problems. But yeah, we'll see. Might do a live stream later for the Liverpool preview, but I've not fully decided yet. We'll see. It depends on how I'm doing for time, because I'm sleeping through days and working and recording videos through nights at the minute. So that's always fun. Anyway, hope you all enjoyed. I will see you at the very latest on Jer's Big Up for the watch along. There we go. I'll get a plug-in for him as well. Anyway, hope you enjoyed. In a bit. Toodaloo. Ta-ra. Etc. etc. You are being so good at staying quiet during recordings now. I am so proud of you. Well done.